there were overruns and some other things that went into it.
Well, when you say overruns, if it's on their part, we don't care.
Well, no, but if they submit a
But if
proper
we
change,
added-
that's right. If there's a
we
change
added
order
to the
submitted
project.
and it goes to the state approves a change order, then.
Okay.
A good example would be the ridiculous stop sign and yield sign that sit at the entrance of that road. It has a red flashing line
Mhm.
and a yellow flashing line.
And that costs
Going-
money.
And they cost us money to have them installed, and we asked them to remove it, but they said, oh, it was in your initial plan, so you have to keep it. So we ended up having to pay like $200,000 to get those put in, but then they made them put in traffic signs and they modified the thing to make it happen. It cost us $26,000. And TxDOT insisted we had to do it. And I'm like, why? You already have a stop sign. I mean, a flashing red light. Why do you need a stop sign? Why do you need a yield sign? But they insisted it had to be put in. So yeah, that's one of some of the cost overruns.
Okay, so just before you move, Eric, the 555,000, we paid for that already?
It's all paid. It's all done.
And we paid it last,
The last payment was $100,000
Okay.
last month.
Okay.
That was the retainage, which is 5% retainage on all projects.
Okay.
So this is part of the reason that our budget's $380,000. And to me, this is not complete yet. We still have drainage issues.
No, drainage issues and the hydrants need to be removed.
and the hydrants?
The engineers designed hydrants to be put into the system along that road, and they were installed by the contractor. But that line is a gravity feed line. It's not pressurized, so you can't take water from those lines.
So
So
what's the purpose of a hydrant?
exactly. So we've asked them to remove
Well,
it, but
I brought this up when they were still putting the water line
yeah,
in,
exactly right.
and it didn't get changed.
Yeah.
In my understanding also, there was supposed to be another water line.
Potentially, but it wasn't part of the bid. It was just.
It wasn't part of the bid
We were gonna ask them to replace the main water line into
to the tower.
to the water tower.
Okay.
but This thing got so far behind. What ended up happening, the company lost almost all their employees and Mr.
Was
Kendrick-
ice there or what?
Huh? Yeah, Mr. Kendrick was the first person to bring it to my attention, and I took it to the contractor, was they had 40 days that they had nobody on site. And so for 40 days, nobody on site, it threw everything out of kilter. So my hope was that we were gonna be able to make it up in them paying, keeping the money, to charging them a penalty for late. They
Yeah.
were 42 days late overall in this project. But even with that, there was $111,000 of retainage still had to be paid, and that's what was paid last month.
You know, if memory serves me right, that road was actually gonna serve two purposes. One for traffic for 18-wheelers, and the other one was that our main water line ran right underneath those mobile homes
Right.
on Navigation Drive.
That was the idea, was to kind of.
And we wanted to move it.
Correct,
To that side, yeah.
Yeah.
but it wasn't as part of the bid package.
No, I understand, but
Yeah.
But it was a benefit that was gonna come out of that.
That's
Well, absolutely. And this is something that's still gonna have to be done.
Yeah, it'll eventually have to be done, but it'll have to be paid for.
It's
by
running
the-
underneath the RV park. If we ever get a leak,
Okay,
they're gonna have to.
my question real quick in the change orders and everything, and it's like any construction, you're gonna have them.
Yeah, sure.
But did we have control? Number one, did we plan for some of this? I know you can't change, but one, did we have a plan for this stuff? And number two, for them just to pile up expenses on us, because it's now on us, because it's gonna go over the 2.1.
Mhm.
You know, who's advocating for us to say,
It's
wait, can't do that,
Yeah.
you know, it's.
Well,
And that's a very valid point. I agree with you 100% on that one. And a good example on this particular project, and it's the first time it ever happened to us, was they actually came out and did a substantial complete inspection. This TxDOT did. They came out and did a substantial complete inspection with our project manager, and I believe Frank was with them. They just kind of looked at the project and said, okay, it's substantially complete, which means all they have to do now is whatever, a couple of tweaked items. Well, then after TxDOT Maritime in Austin said it was substantially complete, TxDOT FAR, the headquarters of the region came up with a checklist of things that needed to be done
Punch
before it was
list,
done, a punch list, yeah. And then San Benito came in after FAR had already been here and after Maritime had already been here. San Benito, which is the local TxDOT office, showed up, and they're the one that decided we need all these extra signs. And they submitted a punch list that had to be completed. And when it went to Austin, the people in Maritime said, yeah, you got to do it. They said you do. So I'm
And at the expense of us.
like, that's correct.
And the other issue too is if you go down there and look at the entrance going into that, you can't, 18 wheeler can't
No,
make that
no,
turn.
I noticed that this last time I was there.
It's gonna be a tight turn.
Yep.
And even coming out,
If they
when they
get
come
those
out of
signs
there,
out of
they're
the way,
gonna
it
have
would
to
be no
swing
problem.
out across
These are
186.
engineers that are putting this thing together because it just
Mhm.
doesn't make
But
sense.
it wasn't designed properly.
Yeah.
And now you have the 18 wheelers that are delivering materials to the
Well,
bulkhead project.
the
not even
idea-
using the road.
but that's not why that road was built and not for construction projects. The road was built so that when there's a warehousing area and cargoes coming in and out of the port, the trucks would go in and out of there for that, not for guys delivering materials for a job and things of that.
But why would they not use it if it's?
Why are you gonna go that road and dead end at the airport and then have to turn and go back down on 186 anyway? Why would they do that? I mean, if their main road
They're
is-
trucks.
if their main road is right here.
Yeah.
And we're gonna say, oh, no, make this turn, come this way, and then come back up again on the same road you're here. There, I mean, if there's warehousing here, or if they're gonna drive through a yard to get to the site, absolutely, and that's where they should all be going.
And that's irrelevant.
And down the road, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we'll be doing, but
Okay.
Well, if we back up, the original plan, if I remember correctly, we were gonna have a scale.
A way station,
there should be a way station.
a way station.
We needed to direct the
Yeah.
traffic
That's
to
correct.
one particular area so we could
Exactly.
get a tariff on that.
That is correct.
I was gonna say that. Yep.
Yes.
The way station was gonna be right there in that corner.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Eric.
I'm gonna flip this page because I don't want to bend over down. Not get back to up. All right. Bulkhead project phase one. The bid was
8.7. Oh, no, bid is 9 something for the whole.
9740.
9,740,078.
Yeah.
And the bid for the first half of it,
600, 6 point.
5.880.
Okay.
The first part was 5.880.
5.8.
The grant is 8.7.
Yeah, sold around.
Yeah.
And their bid came in at 9,740.
And basically 9.7 is there. Yeah. Is the total.
And out of the 5.880, what was our share? 10%?
Again, TxDOT pays until you run out of the 8.7 million. So they don't question that. They just keep spending money because their potential is that it's a $9.7 million project. They're going to spend their 8.7 and we'll still be spending after that. That's how TxDOT has
Okay,
always
but,
perceived.
okay, yeah, I get that.
But is there a percentage? Yes, there is. But I'm pretty sure it's 10%. Yes.
Okay, so we should know that ahead of
Yeah.
time, that if it's an 8.7, we should have a plan that says,
Roughly.
if they spend 8.7, 10% of that is, what's. where we gonna cover it?
170,000, just roughly $1 million.
We didn't have a plan.
roughly $1
And
million.
I've always said that we need to have.
We did have a plan. We said we were gonna stop.
Well,
We're just gonna-
kind of-
Is that
No.
correct?
That was our plan.
Yeah, but I think that plan is a mid plan. I like to see a plan ahead of time.
I remember in conversations, and I've seen it in writing somewhere, I don't remember where, that we would not proceed with phase two until phase one was completed. Then we'd reevaluate and see if we had the money to do
I
phase two.
remember
Is
that
correct?
conversation.
Okay. Now we're being told that we have to do phase two.
Yeah, here's a couple of perspectives on it. The first perspective is if we go to phase one and we stop, then we're going to have to pay a cost share. Regardless of having TxDOT spent their $8.7 million or not, we're gonna have to pay a cost share. Materials are on site, and all the materials for both phases are already on site. Any on-site material that's not used, we're gonna have to pay TxDOT for it because TxDOT's gonna be paying for it when we pay for these invoices. So we'll end up having to buy back materials from TxDOT or from the contractor. So that takes us up to somewhere in the neighborhood, I'm gonna estimate $2 million. That's what we're gonna have to pay out of pocket.
Okay,
So,
let me pause here because I wanna. So we had this grant and the bulkhead was,
both kids.
well, but we started it. Now, did we say, okay, when we approved it, did we say go ahead and do both?
No, we just approved
Mhm.
the grant as presented to us, 8.7 with the bid package of 9.7. With the understanding there was 2 phases and that we could stop at the end of phase.
And that we
I
could
need to-
stop.
I need to clarify
Okay.
something here.
All right,
So a construction phase versus an alternate bid. What
Right.
we're really talking about
Alternate
is the alternate.
That's correct, alternate bid, that's correct.
Because a phase means
You're
that
right.
it's the whole scope of the project that we know is gonna happen.
That's-
It's pre-construction phase, construction phase,
Correct,
whatever else. Alternate bid or alternate is basically add-ons.
right.
You know, once you're finished with your first, with the base bid, then the alternate is optional.
Mhm.
So I just want to clarify.
Yeah, that is correct.
Well,
That's
I
a
just
better way
use
to
that
understand.
for
That's,
clarification.
no, and I use the same terminology.
Part
but it
one,
is-
part two,
they
phase
are-
yeah, okay, but again, so we said, yeah, go ahead and do that phase, i.e. phase
Yeah,
one
yeah,
part.
Yeah,
Part one.
Yeah.
But then we said, when we started looking at our budget, we said, wait, we can't go into phase two.
yeah.
Right.
And I remember that
Yes,
conversation.
absolutely, we did.
My question is, did we notify
Yes.
TxDOT at that moment?
At that moment, no, about a week later, to 10 days later. But I did tell them that we can't justify this. I sent them a multi-page letter explaining why. That because of the cash flow, things of that nature, because it takes them so long to reimburse us, we can't float that kind of money. So like, for example,
Yeah.
it's just sitting here on the
Here's the
table.
cash flow, yeah.
Is $1.8 million worth of invoices and we only make in $2.2 million a year revenues. So we have a year's worth of revenue laying on the table. And so.
So what
thus
did
we-
they say?
They said, well, they came here, the director, who will be back here, by the way, next month to visit with you guys. He came in here and his team came with him and they specifically said, well, it's not our fault. Yeah, your typical bureaucratic excuses. But then they left and I thought, okay, it's done. They understand we're not gonna.
But did we get anything in writing?
No, it was a verbal
See,
meeting here.
and that's the
Well-
thing, guys, is I want to make sure that if we make a decision here,
No, we have in writing saying we're canceling phase 2.
okay,
But we have that.
and we
They're
notify them of that.
And we notified them of it. And they came here and talked to me about it. Do I have a written response from them? No. However, I do have a communications between the woman who runs the finance section and our project manager when she said to him, don't get carried away because we haven't confirmed phase 2's done yet and TxDOT has input on whether or not it's canceled or not. That's what the note from her to our project manager and me says.
So Allison, what is our position when it comes to saying, we're okay with phase one, but we need to stop phase two? How do we legally notify them, saying we need to stop phase two before materials is ordered and they continue without our say? What does that look like?
How does it get to that point?
Exactly.
Right. When they were given the notice to proceed in April, they immediately ordered all the material they needed for the project because they were concerned about the incoming tariffs that were going to be coming in and everything was ordered out of Turkey. All this material came out of Europe. So it was put on ships and sent over here and that's what showed up over several weeks here at the port because it came in on different ships and different loads. But they purchased everything on the pretense that they needed that material to do the project.
Yikes.
I don't know how we got to this point. I mean, now we're looking at, according to what Ron's telling us, if we don't do the project, it's gonna cost us $2 million. If we do the project, it's gonna cost us $1 million,
Right?
1.2.
1.2 million.
Right.
So my point is, where do we get the money to do that? And it looks like if this is all true and we can't get out of this, we're gonna have to figure out how to pay back $1 million. And you said we could pay it back in 3 years.
They
We
give
can't,
us 3
we
years.
can't
I
pay
don't
it
think
back
we
in
can.
3 years.
Well, right now we have one customer and you know as well as I,
Yeah.
that we have a customer who's offering us $500,000 for several lots in port. So
Who's
we
that?
have a gentleman who wants to do
But
a.
we haven't approved that yet.
Yeah, it hadn't gone to
Okay.
you guys, but it'll be brought to you guys in September's meeting. But somebody's offering us $500,000 cash to get some lots where you can build a house.
But here we go. We're taking money that we're making off of revenue for property and spending it on something that may or may not ever get used when we got things that we need to fix in port.
Well, I think there's two things that we're dealing with. One is the fact that we have to come up with money,
Right.
but the other one I also want to know is how did we get here?
Mhm.
What was the
Exactly.
process? Where was the breakdown?
I mean, they even bid it in two parts.
So
So
then all-
the contractor should have known that if you bid it in two parts, we may not do the second part, which we told them we weren't going to.
Yeah.
But yet they still ordered all the materials for it.
But that ordered it too.
They had ordered it 2 months
That's
earlier
correct.
because they were under the impression they were going
We're giving
full
notice to
force.
proceed and they're going for order the
And-
materials.
What do you say, Allison, you read through the contract that we obligated for that? Irregardless,
I want to go into closed to talk about that.
okay.
All right.
So
I think-
yeah, there's a possibility we can make some revenue off selling some property. I think that's not a good reason to have to sell property, but even though we need to sell the property. But, I don't know, it just puzzles me how we got to this point. And it just kind of creeped up on us all of a sudden.
Well, again, understanding the process for TxDOT along the way, knowing that there was a phase one and then there's a phase two. And then at phase one, we said, we're stopping, but they said no, because the materials have been ordered, you need to continue.
Yeah, I wish we'd have known that in advance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my
Yeah, I didn't
question
know that
is,
till-
is that in writing? Did we know that in the contract, in the grant?
I never.
Because in order to
That would be
plan,
in the grant.
yeah, and how did we miss that?
Yeah.
I think the whole thing boils down to, we're not enlisting Allison's
Not
expertise
as much as we probably
ahead
should.
of time,
So
before we sign on the dotted line.
We've been saying this over and over, that we need to include legal. We've been saying it over and over and over.
again, and again, I'm gonna borrow from my experience with schools, building schools, going into contract with people. We have a project manager. And of
Mhm.
course, and we have a legal department that looks at those things. I'm not seeing that we're on top of the game when it comes to project planning and monitoring.
Well,
through a
it's-
project.
Yeah, I mean, that's my question. The engineer supposedly, from what I understand, was your project manager. And I don't really know where the disconnect was between what the board wanted to do or didn't want to do. Financially, how early were the considerations in terms of, okay, we know we have this much money to spend for, we're calling it phase one. What if we can't afford phase two? I'm not sure when those conversations took.
They
place.
actually-
I wasn't involved.
They were actually.
And you should have been involved.
To proceed, notice to proceed, or when the meeting to start the project occurred in April, they were told in that meeting
Mhm,
with the TxDOT representative sitting where Mr. Trevino is sitting right now,
Mhm.
that there might be a chance that we won't do phase two of this.
Mhm.
They were told from the very beginning before it ever started that phase two may not happen. Just because we already knew money was gonna be tight and we're like, you know what, just be prepared. We may not want to do phase two.
Okay.
What was their response?
Everybody at the table, including TxDOT, was like, okay, well, we're fine with that.
Who was in that meeting?
Three people from Russell Marine, including their project manager, our project
Who's our
manager,
project manager?
CSRS, he'll be here also next month's meeting. His name's Donald. Their engineer was online doing the whole brief via Zoom. Myself and a girl that is our project manager for TxDOT. That's who was here. And it was stated in the meeting that we could possibly not do phase two. In fact, I said at the time, it's probable we won't do phase two, just because we aren't gonna have that kind of cash.
So let me ask you, when you have these meetings, does anybody do a write-up saying in summary of our meeting, this is what we discussed, this is what we agreed?
I can check and see if I received one, but I'm pretty confident that meeting was recorded visually as a Zoom meeting. So I'm pretty sure that,
Because if
CSR
that in
support.
fact took place and now TxDOT is saying, no, we have to wait, we met with you guys,
Right.
we told you this,
Right.
but yet you still continued. That's
Well-
wrong. If I'm understanding it.
Without reviewing the grant, I mean, this contract has something called a merger clause, which means that oral representations don't feed into what the agreement is. And so the proper move would have been to amend or provide an addendum to the contract.
And if that is the case, again, that's why we have a legal department to look at that and say, wait a minute, guys, what you're saying here has to be in an amendment in the contract, otherwise it doesn't fly.
Mhm.
I mean, that's how I understand
Yeah.
contracts.
Well, I think part of this too goes back to the NAS deal. They had a promise of
Right.
giving us $3 million.
That's correct.
And then we were contingent on selling lots in Newport subdivision, which hasn't really happened. So when all that went away, this is what we got left with.
And because there was an opportunity
Right.
from TxDOT saying we have extra money, we can
Correct.
use that money to do it,
Fix the sea.
Mhm.
to fix the
Right.
seawall, which, hey, use their money before us.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
understanding that we may not afford the whole package,
Right.
we may afford half of it. And that's what I'm trying to get down to. Where was the breakdown to stop them legally? So that we're
We
not
can talk
in
about it all day long in our meetings and all agree on it. And if they don't know what we're
Right,
up
that's right.
against,
That's right.
it doesn't get done.
Again, I'm a process-oriented person. Step one, step two, step three. Where was the breakdown in that communication?
Pretty easy to see. We didn't have her on board,
Right,
looking
and-
at the contract ahead of time. That's the breakdown.
And that is my big concern,
Well,
Steve,
just have-
because we've been saying that
We,
over.
we just have, I guess what we're gonna have to do is in a meeting, we're gonna have a motion and pass it that every contract we sign, we do not sign.
Without,
We
Don't Ron.
talked about that.
Now, I did review the contract, but not for those considerations.
they're not going into phase two.
Right.
I get it,
So I
but
wasn't aware.
but you should have been brought in to say, hey,
Sure, if that's the material point, then absolutely.
yeah,
And it had been brought up at the board meeting, the meeting before that meeting. And so you guys said, hey, you know what, we might want to do phase two. So when the meeting happened, I immediately say, hey, you know what, guys, we may not do phase two.
Well, that was at a budget meeting that we discussed it. We didn't discuss
Okay,
it.
now let me ask you this. Okay. Us verbalizing, saying we don't want to do it is different than putting in a motion and saying and voting and saying we're not going to do
And
it.
I don't know for a fact
Yeah.
that that was voted.
And I don't ever remember it coming up for a motion.
Oh, very
Exactly, exactly, because we don't make decisions individually. It has to be on a motion, has to
Right.
be
Right.
passed, and now it becomes
Correct.
an order for us to follow through.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just plática.
You're right.
Correct.
Yep.
Because I made the comment, we can't afford any more free money.
Exactly. And we might have said, no, we can't go in, but that's not how business is carried.
Correct.
You're right. It never came
Sorry,
up.
but it
Well,
doesn't.
Said
Yeah,
it's a,
I agree.
it's a process.
And I based it upon your comments and an approved budget, which potentially said no phase two. So
Right. We knew at the time we wouldn't be able to afford it.
Well, yeah. we
Now the,
just dealt
now the
with it.
dilemma
That
is,
should have been, that should have come back to us. I mean, brought up, hey, we can't afford this. They're wanting to go forward. That should have been done whenever you,
Put it on the agenda item.
whenever it was, yeah.
Mhm.
Whenever it was discovered, it should have been brought to in front of us because we don't know until it's here.
you know,
I agree.
Same.
so like I say, the dilemma is what do we do?
Yeah.
Where we at?
Well,
Pass the hat.
okay,
I can.
so you're right. I mean, I think we do have to have a very serious meeting of discussing the breakdowns and where we need to
Mhm.
strengthen that and take corrective action on that. But we're now faced with this situation. Let's try to solve the situation.
Right. That's why we're having the meeting.
Got it.
I
But
just
let's not
want
forget the
everybody
other
to
one, because
know
that one's important.
up front, what we're looking
Yeah.
at. You know, we're already 500,000 in the hole on the road. And now we're gonna be another million.
Okay.
Well, just to understand again, when you say 2 million, where did you get that?
That because we're gonna have to pay a cost share.
Mhm.
And materials are already here. The part of that $1.5 million sitting right there is.
You looked at it and you saw, okay, this is how much materials it is. This is where that money.
It's been verified. TxDOT, on this project and all projects throughout the state now, but our project is the director of TxDOT Maritime considers Fort Mansfield to be their poster child for how they run their business. Okay. So everything that changes with us first. And so they had us go through this with a fine tooth comb, which we did, made sure it was all right. 767 pages of invoices on 1 month's worth of business. Okay.
Mhm.
They We went through that. They've reviewed it. That is going, has already been to them once. I've already
But
sent
when
it.
did you review this? When, what,
Oh, this was reviewed by me back in July the 10th or so.
so you, at that time you saw that we were over in.
Oh, no, I knew that, but we were already processing this thing to the bank to get a $1.5 million revolving line of credit to make these payments. And the reason we were doing that was because we knew TxDOT took so long that we couldn't float checks and come back. Again, TxDOT's asking us to float $1.8 million worth of checks when we only have a $2.2 million annual budget. So,
And the line of credit should have been set up months ago.
yeah, they've been working on it for 3.5
We
months.
could always have a line of credit.
And from now on, we will, but
Yeah,
Well, as it is
Absolutely.
right now, line of credit is set to be 1.5. You won't approved up to 2.
Right.
So that's something that can be changed without a motion.
So right now, when we go sign the documents today,
or
that 1.5 is gone.
yeah, that's correct. It will be. It'll be back in.
And
I
then we're
believe in
still
30
gonna have to
days.
come up with what, another
About
300,000
300,000.
that's coming out.
They'll
our
come back
account.
within about, I believe it'll take 30
reimbursement
days.
within 30 days,
I believe it will happen this time, only because I've already sent it through once.
and that's about 900,000, you said?
No, we have the 900,000 back already. The 974,000 already
Okay.
came back. This is gonna be one.
So when, how much money will it free up out of the 1.5? And for how long?
1.8.
Well, yeah, but the
You'll
line
pay
of
back the
credit,
1.5 and you'll have.
yeah, the line of credit is we're gonna use the 1.5 to
It'll
pay.
be continually rotating after that.
But we still owe them another 300,000 on top of that.
Well, it'll come back with the.
Yeah, we'll get it back,
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll come back in 3
Mm.
days.
but
Then it'll-
You won't get back as interest.
That's correct.
it's an interest.
Well, that's a cost of, okay, so what's the bottom line?
$47,000 a month in interest. That's the bottom line.
Jesus Christ.
But even if we had a line of credit, just let it sit there, it's not doing anything on it. Having to pay it. Now,
Okay.
it'll never be at the full amount after this first time. After that, it'll probably
We're
be like
just
300,000.
taking care, trying to catch
So
up.
we have to catch up now. Once we catch up and we get our money back, we'll just be getting like 300, 400 at a time. But it's still, it's a interest rate on
That's
400,000.
300 or 400 that we can't do other things with.
Oh, no, that's right.
Need to
Well,
be doing.
Well,
And then at the end, we still gotta come up with $1 million.
okay, so, so part of the bottom line is what? I mean, have we put the pencil to this thing and saying,
Yeah,
this is
what
what
we've
it
been
looks like?
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Steve, I appreciate your expertise in this stuff. So now let me ask you, so part of this situation, we can cover it through the line of credit because we have up to 2 million. That's
$1.5.
one,
1.5,
well,
but we
we've
can get up to
approved
2
one.
million. Yeah.
Board approved up
So-
to 2.
Yes,
And did the bank give us that?
1.5 is what they gave us.
They only gave us.
Right.
So the 2 million really is irrelevant because we,
1.5 as far as we're concerned.
So we can't get to.
Well, we could if they would give us a chance. We just don't have time to wait for them to go back to their board and do all this other stuff and
what-
wait more weeks. and
Why
weeks.
didn't we just go with 2?
We
I
asked
did
for
ask
2
for-
million.
I did ask for 2
we only qualified for
Gotcha.
more.
Well, because they originally thought that the property, that 409 acres wasn't gonna have any value. But when it got appraised for $6 million. And so they're like, oh, you can have your money now. No
So
problem.
we didn't ask for the 2 million? We only asked for one,
No, we asked for 2 million and they approved 1.5 and that's what they.
even though it was $6 million asset.
Correct. That's what they
Wow.
presented to their board, 1.5 million.
Okay,
So let's just go on.
1.5, 1.5.
1.5.
All right. So what's the situation with the 1.5? What can we do? And let's talk about the other million later, but let's solve that one first.
This is gonna solve itself eventually.
Yeah,
Right.
over the next
Okay.
90 days.
That's
this'll
what
be-
I wanted
this'll
to
be
know.
good. Yeah.
It-
It's gonna pay back
It'll
and
pay
do
itself.
Just like the 983 that we had out, that, you know,
Exactly.
we paid out of our pocket. We
And
got
that was
that
the
back.
plan. And that was the plan,
Correct.
That was,
with
Yeah.
interest.
Once this revolving thing is set up, and I think it'll take about 90 days to level out.
Okay, okay.
We get done with this whole project and we paid our 8 points, or TxDOT's paid their 8.7. We've got our money back and everything's pretty and happy. We will have a bank account, our bank accounts that we normally have, plus a new account that will have a $1.5 million line of credit balance that's always available to us. Can be used for any lawful purpose from now on.
Yeah,
It doesn't
but
have
it's
to
kind of
be
like
for this
using your
project.
credit cards and you don't want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Not at 8%.
Okay, so now I'm glad that will resolve
Yeah,
itself.
it'll
within
resolve
time.
itself over the next 90
Let's
days.
talk about the 1 million, just for the sake of understanding. What is that cost about?
$160,000 every quarter.
pay it quarterly.
Yeah, no, but what are we buying with that 1 million?
Second,
Phase
second,
two?
Finish
Phase
the
two?
project.
Yeah.
for the whole project to be complete.
So the phase,
Turnkey.
quote unquote, phase two.
Right.
Million on the road, another 1.5
No,
million.
It's for the whole project to be complete.
Phase
That's
B.
what it is.
Okay, so 500,000 on the road, but didn't we pay that already?
That's already
That's
been
done.
paid.
That's all
Paid
done.
for.
Yeah, that's all
But
done.
that's why we're 500,000 short here.
In hours to replenish that amount.
That's gonna take a long time to replenish.
Yeah. Okay, but what is, in addition to the 500,000 that we've
Hmm.
paid and we want to get back in our
Yeah,
bank
yeah.
account? Is that phase two, the materials that were purchased and the
Everything.
finishing
It
up?
will include everything.
Is there any way we could cut back what we're doing on phase two, just to cut money out, just to?
Phase two is actually a very minimal project. All phase two is.
It's almost $4 million. That's not
is to
minimal.
Build that seawall.
But is there there's something we can cut back on, and then that way we won't have,
Not really, because I mean, all it is to put in the seawall and put a concrete cap on top of it. Just to tie it in place so it doesn't fall.
Okay, okay. So
I
it's,
assume they're gonna tear the old one out.
That's correct.
There's already.
There's a
seawall.
demolition purchase, part of the project is a demolition.
there's nowhere we can save money
Not
on that.
particularly. And in reality, it's almost the exact same size as the other one. The other one costs $600,000. This only costs 300. I mean, six point something million. This only costs 3 million. So it's going to cost us a fraction of the cost because the materials and everything's there. The cranes are there. As it is now, also, if we say we're going to stop phase two and they say, okay, fine. And they can either ship the crane away, which if we ever need it again, we have to pay to have it brought back, or we pay a daily rate on a crane, which is some ridiculous amount of money. It's, in my opinion, it's better to just say, okay, fine, we're just going to do this and we'll freaking figure out how to do the million at the end. Because if we don't, all these additional superfluous fees that are going to start showing up are
Okay,
going to be.
so what would be the plan to come up with $1 million?
Well,
I know
as I
property sales was one.
$500,000 of it we can cover quickly. The other $500,000, good question. Well, we
You'd
did
have to-
double our
You'd
revenue.
have to finance it.
Yeah.
And this selling of property that they're gonna present to us at the next meeting?
I will present it to you.
What it is,
I don't
it's a
know.
block of
But-
commercial property that we need to restructure as residential.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
And he wants to build a big,
Okay, so I don't, Ron, I don't want you to present, I want them to present.
that
Mhm.
public.
Yeah.
Well, it's like anybody that we've, one of the things that got us in trouble with North
Yeah.
American Centers, they
Because
never
they
presented in
never
front of us.
presented.
Mhm.
And we said,
This is not a
we're not gonna
company
do that.
that's wanting to do, this is an individual.
Okay, well, that's fine, they need to present.
Yeah, that's us changing commercial
Houses
to
are-
residential. That's
Yeah,
a big
I
change.
wanna be able, it's like, it's like, this is my plan, I'm planning on buying this property, I'm planning on building this house. We need to know that.
This strip of land right here, which we designated as commercial within the last 4 or 5 years, decided that it could only be used for commercial purposes. Gentleman wants to get 200 feet of waterfront for $500,000.
And that's way in the back.
Oh, it's right here in the front. It's right there on the harbor, right there.
And we already changed the lease fees back to residential.
You right. Well, back to what it was over here.
Yeah, what everybody else is paying.
Yeah.
So right here.
Honey Hickman Park.
And I would imagine
Ah,
in reality
Okay.
that there will be 2 other people that'll step forward that want the remaining portion of that water.
I think there's 32 lots,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
The other thing, Albert,
You go see that.
you need to start campaigning to sell some lots in Newport subdivision.
That's true.
We have done zero advertising
Right.
since we started that project. Zero.
We talked about having a realtor represent the property.
And we have already talked to them and told them they will get a commission. And
That's
But
And that's-
the problem is, they're not gonna do that.
It's open to anybody right now
Yeah. I think we need to hire a realtor.
to push it.
Put their signs on there, put it on the internet, sell the property,
Push it.
and they'll get their 6% commission. If somebody else, another realtor sells it, they'll split the commission. So
Here's the way that you do handle that though. If you're gonna give them an exclusive, you don't pay 6%.
No,
like 4 maybe.
yeah,
yeah.
And let them work out with, state of Texas and really jumped on all that commission stuff here in the last 6 months.
What would be the process to do that, Allison, to
Hire a
select?
realtor?
Uh-huh.
all we gotta do is agree to do it. You pick a realtor.
I mean, but how, but I mean, you all are realtors, I'm gonna hire, how do I pick
It's
them?
professional
That's the other
service.
question.
Professional service?
There's,
Throw them in a hat and draw one out.
Okay,
You know.
I'm just asking
amount.
because
I mean,
You want somebody that's all over the internet. Okay,
that has high success rate.
Yeah.
for selling.
somebody that is willing to put up nice signs. I mean,
Mhm.
we tried to put up some little dinky ones and the wind blew them
One
off,
little more way.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Things like that that are gonna promote it, not just say, I'm gonna put it out here. And if realtor B sells it, I still get X%, so I don't care.
Hmm.
You want them to want to get all of it, you know, which means they have to get out there and bust it, you know?
I think we need to do that because no one's
I agree.
pushing that.
Mhm.
We're leaving it to chance that somebody contacts a realtor, hey, I'm interested, and then they get in.
Well, right now, if somebody comes in there from out of town and drives down that road, they have no clue.
It's just a field, right?
Yeah.
And it's always been just a field.
Again, promotion is key. Yeah, I've been saying that for a long time. Okay, but getting back to this, so if we were to sell that property, and I don't ever think that anything's gonna happen back there. It's been sitting there for decades.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
which one?
And that's our
Oh, no, I agree
The
completely.
back
You get lease revenue
I
on
would
it.
not want to mess with the front end, but the back end, I'm okay with
Yeah.
that. Let's get money out of there. If
Absolutely.
we can get $500,000 or more,
When he presented his
offset
package to
this?
me, I immediately said yes, and I would have to give it to you guys for make a decision on value. Because
And I sat down and did the numbers based on square footage of the Newport subdivision. Actually, these lots are actually roughly 500 square feet smaller than the
Okay.
lots in
and
Newport.
are those the ones that are like a strip of land?
25
They
foot
go
wide
50
and
feet.
230 foot. long.
Those are the ones.
Yeah.
Which
Who the
it's
heck?
skinny.
25 is kind of a disadvantage, but the 230 is
But the
really
guy
more of
wants
a
to take 10
disadvantage.
lots, so that's,
Okay.
it makes up for the fact that it's only a 25-foot lot,
So you have to buy 3 lots.
or at least.
At
minimum.
least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any cost to us to have to do anything to that property? No.
It's gonna-
Is that the property that we wanted to run a road in between and split them up?
Well,
at
we
one
talked
time?
about that because they're so deep, but
Yeah.
if somebody wants to take it as it
Take them
is,
like that.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to put that on the agenda.
it'll be
next
on this
meeting.
meeting.
Yeah.
And I want them to present, I don't want you presenting I want to see faces. We've learned our lesson.
Yeah.
Whether it's a development there or anything, any development that is proposed to Port Mansfield shouldn't even be planned without
Correct.
being presented to the commission.
That's why I have several groups that are sitting on the side because they won't have.
We need to put that
paperwork.
also on we need to also put that on a meeting.
Absolutely.
Vote on
Oh,
that.
definitely. Yeah, okay. Well, that solves half of the,
Yeah,
Half
that's
of
half
the
the
bill.
problem. And
How
if we
would
can
we-
if we can sell even half a dozen of the other lots, then we'll have the money we need. But.
and in the meantime, would we have to use, once we clear up the line of credit and free up that money,
Mm.
would we have to use?
We're gonna have to use some of it, yeah, until we get some other
But it's
small
available.
property.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and it specifically says in the loan agreement that we can utilize it for whatever.
For what, yeah, for whatever legally, and with, again, kind of like credit cards, pay it off as quickly as possible.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely,
That becomes
Yeah.
a priority.
absolutely.
Okay,
The original $1.5 million is gonna be in its own account, and every time Virginia writes a check, it'll go out and it'll come back, payment
Into
directly
that.
into that account, it'll just make a loop.
and can you report to us in the financials every time? Well, it should be
Yeah,
there.
yeah, it's already.
It should be. Okay.
And then I gotta apologize to everybody that I told we weren't gonna do phase 2.
Well, again, I've been around this, how government works and that if it's not approved by the commission, the board or whatever, it's as if it didn't happen. It has to be sanctioned by and go on record and now it is an action. That's the way it works, guys.
Well, we cannot do phase 2.
It's just gonna cause us.
It's
We
to
can
make,
save some egg off our face, but it's gonna cost us.
Costs us a lot.
I don't think that would be a wise thing to.
Well, that wouldn't be prudent for us to do.
No, it's not.
I'll take the heat
It's an option.
saying we weren't gonna do.
you know what? It actually makes the
Yeah.
harbor look nice. I mean, the other day the last time that I was out there, it looked really nice. So did that road going out. It actually makes Port look a lot nicer than what it did. So
It does. I agree.
it is bringing value.
Looking
really-
nice and paying your bills is two separate.
Well, I mean, it's gonna come, you have to spend money to make money.
I
It's
wanna
gonna come.
remodel my house and it's gonna look nice, but I have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Right.
The way it works.
But what you do is you make sure you can pay for it before you start remodeling.
Yeah, and
So
don't.
that brings the other
Can
question.
hand down the road, let's get it done.
From here on forward, what I would like, and again, borrowing from my previous other experiences, we need to have very strong plans
Yes,
before we commit to any financial fees.
that's why we bring
Ron,
everything to.
you know, take it however you may, but we count on the director to be on top of these
Yes.
things. But we as commissioners need to see the paper. What is the plan?
Right.
Mhm.
What is the financial
That's
plan?
why I haven't presented these two new.
100% of it.
Yeah,
Exactly, not just pieces.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear, for example, that on social media or I'm in a meeting across the valley or across the state that says, oh, we're planning this apartment. So what?
Yeah.
Who
That's
is?
what happens.
Mhm.
And that needs to stop.
To give you a good example of how we are following those guidelines. We have a company who wants to put in a giant 300-acre greenhouse. Great, but they haven't presented me a business plan that shows how that works and where the finances are coming.
And where you gonna get the water?
Exactly, and where's the water going?
Okay.
Then we have a second group who wants to present purified desalinated water. Great, well, you need to show us your business plan.
Bath and
where's the
Bait just
money?
kicked them out.
Huh?
Bath and Bait just kicked that desalinization.
Well, the
mob.
desalinization thing is
I
very,
think we ought to approach anything else until this is complete.
I agree.
When this debt's paid off, then we can sit down about doing another project.
But this is the thing, Eric. I travel, I hear, I listen. And I worry when I begin to hear, oh yeah, Portman CO is developing this, or like, no, they're not.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I went to Rock where I told you about that art museum, and I talk to people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Portman CO, they're like, wait a minute, because there's a lot of scammers out there.
Oh, absolutely.
And as there are in any business, and they'll say, hey, I'm working with the commission. Oh, I'm just making stuff up. But give me money and I'll invest. And this is a plan that we have. That needs to not
Yeah.
ever happen.
That's correct.
And if it is happen, we need to take action immediately
Absolutely.
because I'm just using this because it's happened in other places.
Sure.
They have used other properties, other places, other towns, and it doesn't have to be a port. It could be a city, it could be where they're using saying, hey, I'm an investor. I give me money and this is where you're going to be part of that without even the commission or the city or the county
Anybody
being involved in it.
Correct.
And that I hope will never happen here.
2 weeks ago, Friday.
That's our job to prevent that from
2
happening.
weeks ago, Friday, myself, the director of Brownsville and the Far Bridge director all were entertained at a group of people who were talking about, that's where this greenhouse concept came up. That's where this desalinization plant came up. And then as soon as the meeting was over, I started getting emails from people saying, hey, we need to get that paperwork. We can start doing the groundwork on this desalinization. I said, what, are you nuts? I said, nobody agreed to anything in that meeting. All you guys did was present ideas. Until somebody sends me a business plan and
So
finances.
one of the
That
things.
right There's your problem.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah, one of the things that I expect that would help us, Ron, is that when you go to this meeting and you're representing the port, then you need to report to us, this is, I went to this meeting, this is what was talked about, and da, 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 da. So that we are aware of it.
Right.
So that I don't hear from it
Yeah. from
while
some-
visiting somebody else.
Hmm.
That should never happen.
Yeah.
So make it a point in your report to put, attended this meeting at this place, this is what was discussed, this is at the, and the bottom line is nobody makes decisions about port until it comes to
Absolutely.
this table.
May I ask another, getting back on the money side. We've got 2 CDs,
Yes.
so
It's 180.
tell me about is there any
There's
restrictions?
no restrictions on them whatsoever.
How much, what are the amounts of those?
180,000.
180,000.
It's either 150 or 100. I think it's 100.
187.
187.
Well,
I'm just asking.
overall, on both of them or each?
No, but together we're with 180.
Not a lot.
So we just need to be cognizant of that because we keep dipping into these other funds.
Yeah.
And you're just asking to get bit.
Right.
This is money that we have. So
That we never touch.
we get into this quarterly interest. And
It
it
lead us
doesn't
up,
come out right.
Yeah.
I would say that we
There you go.
use that.
collectively.
At least for
stack
one
hands
quarter,
and say,
it's like
let's do this.
There you go.
And see, that's the other thing we hadn't really discussed a lot on is the interest on this money we're gonna have out.
Hmm.
If that 1.5 million for 60 days or 90 days, whatever TxDOT takes to pay it back,
Mhm.
that's gonna be pretty substantial at 8%.
160.
And that's why we've got to push the reimbursement as quickly as
Right.
possible.
Absolutely right.
And quickly, as soon as it comes in, pay it up.
The we've tried everything we can to get this thing moving so we get things faster. These, always in the past with TxDOT, you had to show an actual copy of the check has cleared the bank before they would even start reviewing. Okay. This project, they're not doing that. So our project manager came to me and said, well, Ron, why don't we, as soon as we get the invoices, we process them, we sign them, we send them to TxDOT and we'll go from there. And I'm like, I don't think we can do that. He says, well, the project manager for this project said, he said, I think she implied that we can't. So I said, well, tell them to send me something in writing. If we can, we'll do it. So she sent something in writing. I perused what she sent me. I thought, okay, I guess we can. So we
Expedited.
so we expedited it. So we sent it through. Well, it got all the way to finance to be paid. And then the contractor goes, I ain't got my money yet. So TxDOT went, kicked it back and said, So these have already been to TxDOT. They've already been reviewed. That's why I say these should be close to 30 days upon receipt because they've already been seen by them. Even though the one's 767 pages long, it's still already been seen by TxDOT Finance. They've already had it on their hands on it. So it should be a pretty quick, I mean, it takes 30 days minimum. If they put it in the computer today, it'll be 30 days before we get the check. That's just the way their system's set up.
Okay. Bottom line summary. The first part is gonna take care of ourselves
Yeah.
by getting reimbursement on that.
Yeah.
But the second part is we need to put it together in a plan. Do we need to take action as a board to approve that second part, or is it just part of business of selling and getting money and
I
paying
think, I think it's just gonna be the
the business side of
part of business, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if we need to have a motion to authorize financing the second part of it.
Well, that's far enough down the road that I don't know we need it.
I guess we can bring that up in another meeting because this is gonna go on for several
If
months.
we get October, November, and it looks like
Yeah.
things are not working out.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
And, maybe we'll sell some property between now and then to help cover the
And
cost.
can we put something on the agenda as soon as possible to get a realtor to push this thing?
Yeah, Lately contacted all the realtors after you guys said that they get a
Yeah,
commission.
we've got 5 realtors in Port, 4 or 5. And then you have some from out of town that also list property there.
Well, it's open to anyone.
Yeah.
But we need one.
Interview.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was my question. How do we select them? What's the
If
criteria?
you
that-
choose this one, there's, well, you let this one out.
That's why when I buy things, I don't buy anything in Wellesley County.
Competence and demonstrated qualifications.
Yeah, so can we put something together,
We have-
to that effect?
We can do that. We definitely have some realtors who would excel.
We've got some good realtors there.
Yeah, but again, what I'm talking about is I want this notice to say, we're looking for realtors and these are the criteria. This is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So that I'm a realtor like, oh man, I can't do that. Sorry, or yeah, I can do that. Something in writing.
So
Going to say RFP. So what you want
spell
to do?
that out for,
Well, yeah, I mean, if I'm a realtor, I want to know what is it that the commission is looking for.
Sell the property.
I understand that, but
They need to have like
understand
social
how are we-
presence. They need to have
what's
some
gonna
sort
be
of.
a selection process. Because realtors can get nasty and
Well, yeah,
they
Well,
want the business, I get
I
it.
mean-
invite a bunch of realtors to the next meeting and you guys
We can
can.
do that.
yeah.
I mean, we've had realtors with pieces of property that didn't sell for 12 years exactly. And then suddenly one realtor stepped in and sold 32 lots in less than a year that hadn't sold for 12 years. So there are realtors out there that have the cojones to make this happen.
But here's the deal on that 12 years, Ron. The entire advertisement for 12 years was one sign out. in the
Piece of
front.
plywood, yeah.
Gotta promote it.
Promotion,
Yeah.
guys,
But the
promotion.
realtor
promotion,
promoted it.
promotion.
As soon as she started promoting it, she got them all gone.
And if we, instead of having 5, we need one bulldog that says,
That's
I'm gonna go after it.
That's exactly right.
My question is, what do
Find
we
that
agree
person.
on to select on the criteria for it?
Let me talk to a couple of realtors, local realtors, and just see what they feel about it. If they want to come in and do a presentation or,
And that's step 2. Step 1 is what is 1, 2, 3, 4 items in attributes and characteristics and things that we're gonna look for.
We
What
can-
are those bullet items?
We can come up with these bullets and present. them
Okay.
For that.
So that you meet and says, hey, this is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Do you want to submit? You want to present? So that everybody knows exactly what we're looking for.
yeah, because we have to be fair about it.
And that,
That's
you do it through this process. Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Okay. So, y'all know where we're at. That's why I wanted to have this meeting.
That's an important meeting. Thank you, sir.
I don't know anybody in California. But,
Okay.
and like I say, this is all it's gonna take some time and it's gonna cost us some money to do it, but this is all gonna come back through tech stop.
Yeah, all that.
And that's why we got the line of credit. We knew it was gonna cost us some money to do it. But I think in the future, on these grants or any kind of proposals, we've got to sit down and have it
We need to have a
100% ironclad. This is what we're gonna do.
plan A, plan B, contingency.
Yeah, we can't go through this again.
No, I totally agree.
And just as a side, because it's a grant issue, I'll bring it up. It's not really a grant issue. It's a federal funding issue. I did have a meeting with the Corps of Engineers in Port yesterday. Our bid package was posted publicly yesterday. Supposed to be yesterday. And they expect probably by November to start the project. It'll be done in 2 blocks.
What are you talking about?
The dredging,
Start in November?
Okay.
Start in November?
November theoretically is when it should start. They'll do the jetties first with the area near the Bird Island, our big pearl in the middle of Laguna. They're gonna extend the
Yeah.
jetty on that to give it a
Talk about
material
that.
spot to put it on. And then that'll probably do for a while, but then the prohibited season comes where there's turtles and birds and all these other kind of things. So they'll stop for about 3 months and they'll come back and finish it. So they said it'll take total from the time they start to the time they finish, they'll probably get done September of next year. But we are on their radar. The bid package has been submitted the package has been submitted for bids. And we should have some activity by November.
That's only the
That's
jetty.
That's a report.
It's just a report,
Let's
just to let you
keep that.
know.
yeah.
We, speaking of that, we flew a drone Tuesday. This is for our Lower Laguna Madre Preservation Society for our website. We paid a guy to fly a drone down the jetties. And it is so obvious where that silt's coming from. I mean, you can see it. When you look at the picture, you go, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And that's because that jetty's too short.
And they all admit that, even yesterday. They admitted it.
Hopefully that wasn't a conflict of interest, us flying a drone down there. Because I've been accused that I'm creating a conflict of interest because my wife has formed this organization.
All right. We gotta stick. to the
Yeah,
agenda.
okay. Anything else?
I just had to say that.
Anything else? This,
Transparency.
So I guess we'll continue on until the next meeting. We'll get another update. So I appreciate y'all coming. So now we all know what's going
can
on.
we summarize this? And of course, it's gonna be in the minutes of this agenda,
Mhm.
but make sure we summarize these things so that.
Yeah, we'll put it in the minutes and we can actually read the minutes at the meeting,
Yeah.
next meeting. if you want.
That's right.
Okay.
What we came up with.
Sounds good. We really don't need any action item, right? Any action.
Okay, I'm gonna adjourn,
Oh,
Hit the red button at the bottom,
not lit up.
or whatever it is.